whole thing and had to start again.
Yes, all right. So, welcome to Divine Inter. We were just having a technical issue, and now I know that I'm recording the right part on my computer. With you is Pastor Dana Cornerstone. Why I so having so much problem pronunciating your last name,
It's
brother.
a Spanish
I have no
version.
idea.
Don't worry about it.
I know. Maybe because I'm Latino. Anyway, with me is Pastor Dana Coverstone, and my co-host, one of my co-hosts, Karen McCoy from Canada. So my first question before I got this technical issue in this interview, I stopped it because I knew there was something wrong with my interview. Was this? How long you been doing? How long have you been having these prophetic dreams?
I started having dreams when I became a Christian around the age of 15 or 16, but never on a national scale or a national level. As a pastor, God uses me a lot in the word of knowledge, word of wisdom, and discernment gifts of 1 Corinthians chapter 12. And God will show me things about a person's situation or their health or things like that. But the dreams on this scale started back. I had my first dream December 16th on a Monday night of 2019, coming towards 2020. So the ones on a national scale have only started for about the last 7 or 8 months.
Oh, okay. Did you when I first saw your video, which by the way went viral all over the world, I noticed something about you that I have never seen in any other people when it comes to prophetic dreams or prophetic words. You said it very, very honestly and decently. You said, I'm not a prophet and I'm not afraid to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That shocked me. That shocked me in a way that I was like, wait a minute. This man lived through this revelation, and this is a revelation from God. This is basically a warning to our country. Mm-hmm. And I was caught in the middle, and I was amazed what were you talking about. What has been your feedback from the people after you revealed this dream? Have your feedback positive?
I'm just a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
I pastor a church of about 8 people in the middle of nowhere in Kentucky. I've never pastored a church larger than 150 people. And most of the places that I've been, I have followed moral failures. That means I get to the church after a pastor has made a huge mistake, and the church is in triage. The money's leaving, the people are leaving, people are mad, the name is ruining the community. So I don't, nobody knows who I am. I'm a nobody in the middle of nowhere, but I've done my best to be a faithful pastor to the places God's called me to go. Since I published the video or put the video out there, and I did it as a pastor who saw something. The first dream I had in December, I saw those things come true. Had the second one in June, shared that with the men I pray with, and they encouraged me to put it on Facebook, which I did. And that was the finished product everybody saw on June 24th. I've had thousands and thousands and thousands of emails, phone calls. Our church used to get 10 phone calls a week. Now we're averaging about 200 a day. My Facebook got literally, I've got almost 4,000 friend requests I can't even get to on Facebook. My daughters, who are older, both sat down several nights in a row for 6 hours each, tried to answer messages, and they kept popping up 2 or 3 a minute. I've been, called for interviews, phone, TV, radio, Skype, Zoom. My email, my phone has just exploded to the point that I can only answer about 5% of the emails that I get on a daily basis, and they're all about the dream. So it's totally changed my life. I'm still a pastor. I'm not leaving Burkesville. I was in the pulpit last Sunday, but it's brought a lot of chaos. But at the same time, I can honestly tell you, I've spoken to over 10,000 people who have told me that they've had the same kind of dreams, the same kind of visions, the same kind of sense of what's going on in America, and that these people have started having these dreams and visions going back to December or January last year. I've spoken to people in the black community, in the Hispanic community, in the Oriental community, and they're all saying that within their separate communities, they are seeing dreams and visions, almost a spike in those things, which tells me, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one, and there's a lot. I believe God's going to raise up a whole lot of people who nobody knew, nobody would have thought of, just no-name pastors and prophets who are going to just share what God's saying to them, and to try to number one, wake the church up. If you ask anyone in America or around the world, how are things in America right now? They're going to say not good. We've got cities under siege. We've got cities on fire. We've got protests. We've got movements that are pushing to defund police and get rid of the social. We've got questions about social justice, and create just crazy things. And so America's in trouble. And so I really believe God gave me the dreams to wake people up. And when I woke up that night from having the second dream, I knew I had to do something with it. And then the next night I had the dream about the coin shortage. I think a lot of people saw that part of the whole video and said, hey, the guy got this right, because the coin shortage. I put the video out on Wednesday, and by Friday, signs were going up all over America. There's a coin shortage. So I think just a lot of people saw that and said, hey, there's something to this, and then pursued it further. But I'm just a pastor. I'm not a prophet. I'm a pastor who is being used in the gift of prophecy and dreams and visions, but I'm not a prophet in that position. I'm just a pastor. That's all I am.
Yeah, and so in that case, in that minute, a question for Karen. Karen, does anybody needs to be necessarily a prophet in order to have a revelation from God?
That's one of the things that I see being misused today. Everybody's calling themselves a prophet. But people can be prophetic and have a prophetic gift. They can have the gift of prophecy. In fact, God, by the Holy Spirit, can speak through anybody who has the faith to release it. And we'll try to find people who has the faith. I think he's chosen you, Pastor Dana, because you had the boldness and the faith to speak out, because it is a risk. It is a risk that you have taken. You've exposed yourself and your family and your little church, and there are consequences to that. Unfortunately, some of them are good, but a lot of them are bad.
Yes.
And I really want to honor you for stepping out, because to step out and to be obedient means persecution, and I'm sure persecution has come from many, many different directions. But prophecy comes in various forms. It's the voice of God, and I liked what you said. You said it is a warning, and that is exactly what it is. It is a warning given. But I liked what you said. I was listening to your video, the first one you did last night again, and you gave 4 or 5 different ways to prepare. Like, what do we do with this? It's not about just giving the word. It's, okay, what is God saying to the people? What do we do with this? How do we react to this? How do we interpret it? There's so many aspects to a prophetic word or dream. It's God's voice, right? Maybe you can help me there.
A lot of people, a lot of folks came out and said, you were just trying to provoke fear, and I wasn't. I had such an unction and an intensity in my spirit. I had to get this information out. Yeah. So I gave that as a pastor, worried about friends, family, people in my church, people in the country. I love this country. I've been to 43 countries. I've traveled all over the world, and got to see some great places, some great sites. Mm-hmm. But our country is unique, based on that it was based on God and Christianity and our faith. We have values. We have the amendments. We have the Constitution. That declares that we were made, and we're recognized being made in God's image, and that separates us from so many other countries and so many other nations. It doesn't make us better than them. It just makes us unique, different. And so I just shared it out of my heart. And here's some things you could do. We're seeing food shortages. We're seeing inflation. I heard on NPR News the other day that food inflation has gone up the highest it ever has been in 50 years. Mm-hmm. Wow. We're watching the price of meat go through the roof. Yeah. We've still got 17 processing plants that are shut down for meat. Yeah. I began even this week that trying to find lunch meat and bacon, it's hard to do. So we're seeing shortages. If you look at food companies that are selling like 25-year long-term food, Well, they're saying it's 4 to 5 weeks to get that food shipped because they're having trouble getting supplies and things.
Yes.
So I just tried to be relative.
Yeah, that's another reason why I brought you in, because I've been talking about food shortage, famine in my special reports, that's per preview, and my free shows. We've been talking about that way even before things happening, because we know that the elites are planning all this thing to bring chaos and panic for the incoming event, which is financial event. How the Lord express you about anything about currency or financial events in your dreams?
The one thing I saw in the second dream was I saw the roof on banks just being like tilted over. It was almost like a vacuum was just sucking finances out. And in my mind, I was hearing transfer of wealth, which we realized that when COVID is shut down, when COVID shut down businesses, New York has estimated that about 80% of their restaurants are going to shut down. The big corporate stores can stay in business, but I encourage people. For about a year and a half now, I've been buying silver from a friend. I can't afford gold. I'm a pastor. I live on a pastor's salary. But I've got a friend that I buy silver off of because silver had a really shoot up last week and came back down. But the dollar cannot keep going. We have states that are trying to fill all these unemployment commitments that will run out, and now we've got some members of Congress saying we need to bail out the states. Well, when's the last time you ever heard about a state needing to be bailed out? You look at states like Illinois. You look at their credit rating. All of a sudden, these things are starting to go down. You've got pensions that are unable to be met. All these obligations. So we've got a perfect storm. We got businesses shut down. Now there's going to be a payroll tax cut. So you're going to have that's going to impact Social Security. And I'm not an economist. I'm a pastor. I've got a Bible college degree. I've got master's degrees in preaching. I'm not an economist or out there, but I know what it's like to live on a paycheck. I know what it's like to live week by week, and try to pay bills and see food going up and inflation. And there's no way that our country can keep going like it's going. We just can't keep. The easy idea is to just keep printing money. Well, eventually, chickens come home to roost, and you have to take care of those things. And so my kids and grandkids are going to have huge tax things to have to deal with in the future. And so we're literally, once again, I'm not an economist, but I can look at the world and realize, at the nation, and realize this is unsustainable. There's no way we can do it. If you've got all these elements of the storm coming together, it has to impact financially at some point in the very, very near future.
Yes.
And this is exactly what I've been talking about in my shows.
Exactly the same.
The same thing I've been talking about. Amazing. And I used to be a banker. I'm an ex-banker, so I deal with economists all the time. I deal with all these issues in the economy all the time, and within my community, Pastor, we have some people called gurus, and they have brought up a lot of misinformation to my people. The people who are recipients for this wealth transfer that you're talking about, because we also talk about the wealth transfer. That's the currency reset, when all this paper money will have to go in value by force, not by somebody who's going to have a magical wand and say, hey, you're rich. That's not going to happen like that. That's the thing that gurus have been telling my people. And they may be misguided by the devil, by the enemy, by the liars. So now they don't know exactly who to believe. But they don't want to come to divine intel and concentrate on the promise of the Lord, to the prophecies. They don't want to come to the people, to my show, because they've been blind by greed, because they've been told that they can actually exchange the Zimbabwe and become trillionaires. Okay? And I'm not saying it won't happen, because the Zimbabwe is also prophetic, but what I'm saying is that people are being blind by this greed. Have you had a revelation about people being blind by greed?
I just put another dream out this morning on Facebook that I had earlier this week. And one of the things that I saw in that dream was a $100 bill, almost like a flag, and it was flying, waving in the wind, but it was on fire. And it was burning towards the middle. And then I saw that flag being lowered, and I saw people who were standing around it watching it come down crying with their hands on their heart, almost like they had pledged allegiance to the dollar, the almighty dollar. Yeah. And as the flag gets down, I could even hear taps playing in the background. And as the flag got down the bottom, there was only about a third of it left. So we know that the value of the dollar is declining rapidly. It's not worth as much as it was. But I also, and this is probably going to make a lot of people mad, part of the dream, but I saw very, very puffed up pastors and prophets wearing very, very expensive suits, and I saw them basically begin to, their clothes were coming off. And as they're preaching all these messages about health and wealth and prosperity, and you're not going to get nothing bad's going to happen to you, nothing bad's going to happen. And so finally it gets down to where they're almost basically completely naked. They're trying to cover themselves with their hands. And suddenly the rug is pulled out from under them. And they fly up in the air, and I see money flying from them. And as they hit the ground, every single one, the pastors and the prophets, when they hit the ground, they actually bit the tips of their tongues off, and their tongues went flying out beyond their reach. And I just see that as a way that God's trying to say He's gonna cut the tongues of these people that are saying these things that are not godly. It's the principles of Jeremiah. There was one group of prophets saying this, one group of prophets saying another thing. Exactly. And once again, I'm not being a prophet at all. God's giving me some prophetic things to share, but the American church is not exempt from persecution or opposition. Jesus himself said, through many trials and tribulations will enter the kingdom of heaven. And Peter said very clearly, judgment begins in the house of God. And we have thought that because we do the missions and we support things around the world, we do great humanitarian aid, that we are exempt, that we can live how we want and just focus on the prosperity. And that nowhere in Scripture does it say that. Yes, it says God will bless and prosper us, but not in the way that it's being preached and taught. And the church, the church that's bought into this idea is about to be slapped so hard and so silly because of what's about to happen that they're blind to it.
Yes.
And so the teaching and the preaching that's out there, we're not going to get hurt. We're going to come out on their side. I had somebody actually call me and say, Pastor Dana, you're a false prophet because when this thing's done, I'm going to be richer than I ever was before. And I'm thinking, then you missed the whole point. Yes. You're missing the point. Jesus is trying to wake his church up. Yeah. And if you're telling people nothing bad's going to come and something bad happens, the blood's on their hand. And I realized that with these dreams, I've had the blood's on my hand. Yeah, exactly. I've seen things I thought were me to share, and I'm responsible for it. And so that's why I've put it out there.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you. You did good.
It's interesting that they also accuse you to be a prophet when you never call yourself a prophet, just the same way I never call myself a prophet because I get these words from the Lord. And the Lord even told me that I'm not a prophet. I'm just a vessel. And that I just have to, give the people what the Lord's telling me. All these things are happening right now from the same people who call themselves Christians, because it's more important for them to be rich than to be enlightened by the word prosperity. Yeah. In my Spanish show, I told my people what the Lord told me. He said, money has nothing to do with prosperity. The Lord told me that. Money has nothing to do with prosperity. Money is just a tool. He said, I don't need to bring you money to make you prosper in life. That's what the Lord told me. You can be prosper by your health. You can be prosper by having love around you. You can be prosper by having your loved ones, your wife, your kids in good health, that they can be gathered together and live in harmony. That's prosperity. You can be prospered by not lacking anything that you need to survive. That's prosperity. That's the prosperity of the Lord. But right now, people don't get it. They just focus on money, and they don't realize that this exchange, this wealth transfer, is not for us. It is for the lonely. It is for the poor, and it is for the hungry. That's King Clement's prophecy. And when the Lord says, I want you to stretch out your hands in the prophetic word of King Clement. He said, I want you to stretch out your hands and reach the lonely, the poor, and the hungry, and I want you to clothe them and feed them. The Lord says it very clear. This is my desire.
Exactly.
So for those people who believe that Jesus is your King, do His will. Do His desire. Because when everything ends up after this pandemic and all this chaos come out and all this civil war that we're going to go through it, because this is a civil war. This is another thing that I've been talking about for years, that they want to come out with a civil war.
Ben, you've also been saying about chaos and panic in the streets.
Exactly. So everything's coming together. This is no coincidence. Everything's
and God is calling people like you, Ben, and Pastor Dana, to wake up the people, because if they're sleeping, they're going to be destroyed.
Yes, exactly.
Right? The shock, never mind, but they are going to be taken unaware. And throughout the Bible, I'm sorry, God always sent a voice to wake up the people, to warn the people, even with Jonah. We see with Nineveh, to try to turn the hearts of the people to God, and to prepare them for the things that are coming. We need to get ready, people, not only in prayer, but in physical things that we need to do. Yes, prayer could be number one, but there's other things that we need to do to protect ourselves, to protect our family, and to protect the Word of God and the purposes of God going forth. This is a season that we're in, and we're in a shift season. We're shifting.
Yes.
And so your voice is shifting people, Pastor Dana. Your voice is shifting people.
Yeah. One of the things that I continue to hear in my dreams is brace yourself, brace yourself, brace yourself.
Yeah.
Bracing yourself is because you brace yourself when you're about to be hit by something. And football team, that the guy there's a group of guys protecting the quarterback, but they know somebody's about to hit them as hard as they can to try to knock them down or push them back. And so they're leaned in, they got their feet back, but they know something's going to happen. And there are way too many people in the church world right now that are totally unaware that anything's about to happen at all. And they think the COVID is just going to go away, the election's going to take care of everything. And God's trying to wait. It's about Jesus. It's all about Jesus and our relationship with Him. It's about being holy and righteous, about living differently, being different. It's about putting our faith and our trust in Him completely and living it out every single day. That's what it's about.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. So for those who are asking, where's Sheila Marie? Sheila Marie was not able to be in this interview. She wanted to be able to this interview through FaceTime, but when I tried to do that, the whole audio went down. So she's going to be next in my next show. Hopefully she'll be ready for my next show. So right now she's busy doing personal stuff. So that's why Sheila is not in this interview. Another question I would like to ask you, Pastor, is this. There are several parts of your prophecy, a prophetic dream, that called my attention. One of them, which is really scared me out, was the fact that you said in your prophetic dream, I did not see Donald Trump around. Right?
Yeah.
What I saw
was a leaderless Washington. I saw the White House was completely empty. No staff, no heads of state, no chief, no chief officers. Nobody was in the building at all. And I did see fires and explosions and things outside of the White House. But and here's the other thing, is I've had all sorts. Probably that's the one thing that people are talking to me about. What do you think it means? What do you think it means? Even if Donald Trump loses in November, he is still the president until the middle of January when we have the inauguration day.
Yes.
If he wins, he's still president. So I don't think it has anything as much to do with who wins as the time frame I saw when the fist hit the month of November. Obviously, we've got a very, very contentious election coming up.
Yes.
So last week, Donald Trump was at the Whirlpool factory in Ohio, and he made a statement that he had a lot of rich, powerful enemies, and that we may not see him for a while.
Yes.
After that video was made, I had probably, I'm not kidding you, I probably had 400 emails, text messages. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? That has to do with your dream.
Yes.
I don't know what it has to do with the dream, but it tells me that people are watching every single thing that goes on out there, and they're paying attention. And for Donald Trump, our president, to say, you may not see me for a while, that concerns me. I don't always like everything any president has done. But I still respect them. I still respect the office. The Bible tells me I'm to pray for them. I've already prayed for our president this morning. I prayed for our governor here in Kentucky, who I do not always agree with some of the the COVID shutdown things. But we're called as Christian believers to pray for those in leadership. And I'll tell you something else. In a lot of the dreams I've been having, in the book of Genesis, Pharaoh had a dream, and Joseph interpreted. Book of Daniel, Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, and Daniel told him the dream and the interpretation. Okay. I've been asking people to pray that our president has dreams. Pray that in the nations, pray that these leaders and heads of state begin having dreams, so they can seek out men and women of God who will say, this is what that means. Because it's biblical. There's a precedent that God speaks to leaders, key leaders, heads of nations, heads of state. So why can't we see that today? So I've been praying for President Trump to have dreams and visions that drive him nuts enough that he has to call some men and women of God that he trusts that just will say, this is what that means, Mr. President. This is what that means. So I believe God still wants to move in our nation and use people to do it. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. One of the things that what people don't understand is this. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a prophet, but this is something that the Lord told me. The prophecy indeed, everything, prophecy word, prophetic dreams, anything is a mystery. Mm-hmm. And why the mystery? Because the Lord works in a mysterious way, because he doesn't want the devil to come over and destroy the message of the Lord. So let me tell you exactly what the elites are planning to do. Okay? That goes aligned with your dream. Back in 1962 or 63, you guys can Google it. It was the inauguration of John F. Kennedy. Mm. But the elites, what they do is that they use the planetary movements. It's like astronomy. They use those planetary movements and the energy to manipulate the metrics, the reality of the world. That's how they do it. Basically, some people will call it witchcraft. Some people will call it black magic. Call it whatever you want to do it, but that's the way they do it. Because it's even biblical that the word that we're going through, the devil and, good against evil, is basically spiritual. It's a spiritual war, right? It's a spiritual war. So now they want to use that, the same energy that happened back in 1962 or 63 when John F. Kennedy, he gave his inauguration as a president. And they said this is what they said. No matter who wins, and they even say no matter who wins, we all know there's going to be Donald Trump, because Donald Trump had been prophesied that he will be back in 2 terms, okay? So he said, no matter who wins, it can be Biden or it can be Trump, they will not last in the office. That's what they're telling us. Wow. So when you said that you did not see Donald Trump, that calls my attention. It calls my attention because they want to do exactly what they did to John F. Kennedy. They want to get rid of him. Okay? Mm-hmm. So we need to pray for our president, people. We need to pray for our president every single day. Because I've been saying it all this time. If they do something to him, please listen to me, guys. If they do something to him, God forbid, we may have civil war. Yeah. We may have civil war. Because what people don't know is that we are being attacked by the communists. Mm. We're being attacked by Russia. We're being attacked by China. They don't need to be opening up. They need to be secret. This is what I've been talking about, the secret World War III. This is a secret World War III going on. What happened in Lebanon was a drone attack. There is evidence. There was a drone attack. They don't want to say that it was a drone attack. They want to say that it was just an accident. Mm. Why they got rid of that part in Lebanon? Well, let me tell you what they did that. That part of that part in the Lebanon is a port, where all the ships comes over. That's the main port of that country. They got rid of that port. They destroyed everything, and now the country needs $12 billion to rebuild the economy through that port. Why would they do that? And why do they attack it with drones? Very simple. They want to force Lebanon to join China. They want to force Lebanon to join China because right now China is offering the money for free. China is right now offering the money for free because what he's doing, because they want to, in this world transfer, they want to take out the United States, put them aside, just like I've been telling you guys, put them aside. Since 1995, they signed the contract, they signed the agreement, because the United States will be taking care of his business. What is his business? The New Republic. I told you, didn't I? The New Republic is to bring back the constitutional law as it was written in 1776. The United States will no longer be a corporation. It will no longer be a corporation. It will be a republic made up by the constitutional that was written back 400 years ago. So now they want to leave him alone, but in the meantime, Russia and China is going to be competing to buy countries. And so China right now is doing, that's basically what they're doing. They want to introduce a new credit system that will enslave the people of the lower, and they want to introduce a satanic friendship. Why satanic? Because the dragon family that many people are praising, that's the enemy of God. It is written in the Bible. The dragon is the enemy of God. And who's the dragon? The dragon? China. China is the enemy of God. If you make your research, which country is persecuting Christians? China. Which country is destroying churches, Christian churches of all denominations? China. And right now, China has been put in the list of the Lord, and he will deal with China. Okay, because right now China has something that not many of you know. They have a bubble, economic bubble. When it explodes that bubble, watch. China itself will need the economic support of all the countries around the world. Watch. So that's the reason why I also brought you in. It's because according to the elites, they wanted to get rid of him. They cannot get rid of him the way they did with the impeachment, which was basically false. They want to get rid of him for every single thing that he says, because it goes against their agenda. You know, he's sweeping all the corruption in Washington. He's bringing back the Church of God. He's bringing back Christianity. He's protecting Christianity. He's protecting the Bible. He's protecting. And what did they do? What did the Democrats did? They wanted to force the Quran. They wanted to force the Quran. They wanted to force false teachings. They wanted to force the gay agenda. The gay agenda. That's what he did. Why? Because you know, Obama is gay, whether you guys like it or not. He's gay. He's not even Christian. And his wife is not even a woman. She is a man. And people hate it when I say it. But facts don't care about your feelings, people. When you find out about this, watch what I'm telling you. They're going to make it look like it's no big problem. Well, so we have 2 gay people on the White House. Nothing wrong happened. That's the way they're going to sell it to you. I've been saying it all this time. Okay,
it's all going to be exposed. Right?
Everything's going to be exposed. Even Rosalind Solomon came out with a prophecy. She said that in the next 6 months there will be big scandals in the financial system, in the banking system. That's the truth. That's what they want to prevent. That is the truth.
That could be part of that dream too, right? Where the lid is blown off the bank.
Exactamundo. Pastor Dana mentioned that he saw banks with the roof being taken off, right? That means that there will be scandals in the banking industry. And we all going to know what they're doing with our money. Didn't I told you that there's a secret plan to deceive people not to exchange? Yes or no? I told you that, right? There you go. Did. So it's coming out. You see, that's exactly. And people hate me because I tell me and I reminding myself all the time, no, I did not contradict myself. I did not contradict myself. I keep bringing the truth, and people don't like to meet the truth. They don't want to get it for somebody like me because I'm a sinner. But God will use anybody He wants to.
Yes, He will.
He use anybody.
He's looking for a voice. He's
looking for a voice.
A bold voice.
A bold voice. Whether I use a profanity or I don't use profanity. Okay, because I'm a sinner. But I get very emotional And I use profanity many times on my show. But I love the Lord. Does the Lord approve my profanity? No. But he told me straight out, as long as you don't attack my anointed, as long as you don't do these things that I tell you not to do, I will not put my judgment on you. He took me from the banking industry, where I met the more filthy organization in the face of the earth, and now he wants me to bring up the truth, not through what the truth that I may bring up, but the truth that I went through, what I live myself. Okay, that's the reason why I bring in Pastor Dana, because Pastor Dana is a proven word, what I've been talking about for more than 5 years.
Yes.
You know, but there's a lot of people in
total confirmation. Yes.
If there's a lot of people in the Netherlands who they believe in a 800 number, they believe in a page where they go and they say, no, nothing of that, but stop listening to Benny, stop listening to this guy, stop listening to this, nothing bad is going to happen. Watch.
Yeah. Well, we see it happening already, and I'm so glad that God, you discerned those dreams by waiting for the first one to be fulfilled, which propelled you, Pastor Dana. I think God is going to continue to use you because He's positioned you for such a time as this. He positions people for a specific time, for a specific work, and He's waking up His people, and that is. Exactly. It's awareness. And, they're going to fight back because it's really hard. And Ben knows this. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to change people's perception and their mindsets.
Yes.
And they will fight back. It's been throughout church history where we've seen the church fight out back to any change or anything that it doesn't fit into their dogma.
Yes.
And, but please be encouraged. One of the things that is on my heart is, what are you suggesting how the people should respond? What is the church to do to respond to your word? What are we supposed to do, Pastor?
First of all, people need to get their lives and their hearts right with the Lord. The first response must be spiritual. If judgment begins in the house of God, then we know what's coming. And that was in the word. That's a promise. We can't pray that away. We can't change that. He said, okay. Judgment begins in the house of God. It will come. It will happen, even starting now, I believe. And what we're going to find is that as we get our hearts right with the Lord, we're going to be able to hear Him more, hear Him better.
Yes, exactly.
Because if we're not living in a way that glorifies Christ, it makes a difference in how people look at us. So, first of all, the spiritual preparation. Second of all, I need to pray for me and say, okay, Lord, what do I do for my family? How do I prepare for my family? Because I've got one grown daughter. I just moved to another state. I've got one going to college. I've got a son at home who's my youth pastor, and my wife. So I've got adult children. I had someone call and she said, I've got 3 small special needs children. Okay. How do I? And I said, I don't know because I don't have special needs kids, but I believe the Lord will show her specifically how to do that. I've had people call and say, should I sell my 401k? Should I should I invest all my money in silver or gold? And I'm not an economist. I'm not a financial analyst. I just simply say, you need to pray and specifically hear from God, what do I need to do for my family and my home? So for me, personally, it was making sure that I had some food stored back, some water stored back. It was making sure that I had something that was not cash, was on a debit card or credit card that I could handle, like silver. It was also making sure I had ammunition and weapons. And that wasn't because I told people to go out and be all Rambo-like, but I live in a county where people know how to hunt. And shoot a deer. So since I've got a guy in my church, he tried to get a beef processed, and they said February 29th, 2021. Well, that was back in July. So they basically said you got to wait 7 months before you can process an animal that you own. Yeah. So meat is going to become a commodity. I believe that. We already see the prices jacked through the roof. Yeah. So having a weapon, and if you live in Portland, or you live in Seattle, or you live in Minneapolis, would you be okay with knowing they're going to defund the police, and when you need help or someone surrounds your house, who you going to call? And so self-defense becomes a natural born thing. I never said go shoot people. I never said go crazy. I said defend yourself. I'm going to take care of myself and my family, my wife and my kids. I will defend them with my life, and I need the means to do that. So our culture's changing, but mostly it's spiritual. Lord, show me what do I need to do for my family, and that's where you're only going to hear how to answer that question. You're only going to hear the right answer from that question is if your heart's right, Lord, and you're really being sincere. And okay, God, what do I do? Yeah. And I've heard people say, "Well, I don't have any extra money." Well, can you network with a neighbor or a friend? I've got several single ladies, and an older lady, and they're working together to connect, and maybe they can get some extra food. And also, if don't hoard food or stockpile it for the whole thing of just being about you. Yes. That's not Christian at all. Mm-hmm. Back in the spring, Nashville had some tornadoes, and we were able to send some bottled waters and some food storage kits down there. Why? Because a tornado came through and it tore up homes and properties, and people didn't have anything. And if I said, "Oh, that's I can't give it," well, that's not Christ-like, because we're supposed to take care of people. Mm-hmm. And so even the stockpiling, it should be stockpiling and not hoarding. To take care of your family, what you need, but then also to help others around you that are going to need it too.
Exactly. And live for Jesus. That's why it's so important for believers to know the true voice of God. They need to develop, they need to know to hear the voice. They're not even recognizing the voice in the dreams that you're getting. They need to be able to recognize the voice of God, hear the voice of God for themselves, and then they can walk accordingly and pleasing before the Lord in faith and in victory, right?
It is tremendous, your dream, Pastor Dana, that it has still shaking me. I know that I got in contact with you days after your prophetic dream was revealed, and it was until now that I can have the chance to meet you in person, and we get to have this is an honor for me, the pleasure to listen to your prophetic dream. My question is, have you have any update of your prophetic dream?
Well, I said I had another dream Monday night. I saw glimpses of it over a couple nights. I had the fullness of it on Monday, and I shared that just this morning on Facebook. Yeah. But I continue to hear from people. I have people sending me anywhere between 200 and 300 videos or other prophetic words. I had people send me 1,100 dreams that they've had. Pastor Dan, will you interpret this? So what it's done for me, though, is it's excited me because I'm becoming more and more aware that in every community in our country, there are people having dreams.
God is speaking.
I'm hearing from parents who have 5, 6, and 10-year-old kids, little girls and little boys that are having dreams about America, having dreams about cities on fire, having dreams about Jesus coming back, which in turn, gets the parents excited and frustrated or concerned. But there are people having dreams and visions all over this country, every color, every race, every creed, every background.
All over the world. Yeah.
So God is speaking. And if He used a dream for a callus, I'm grateful to be a part of that. I'm still going to do my best, when the Lord gives me dreams. And I've not said, "God, give me another dream." I've not prayed that one time.
No kidding.
There's been a lot of cost with this, which is fine. Yes. But I just want to be an obedient servant to the Lord. I want to get the message out that Jesus is coming back. And I want the church to get ready. I want the church to wake up and understand that He's calling His bride back to holiness. He's calling His bride back to purity. Yeah. And we got to be those wise virgins that have the oil ready for our lamps so we can see where we're going. Yeah. So that's what I'm sensing, what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and guys, let me tell you something about Pastor Dana. He's so humble that he just mentioned something that the Lord told me. I want you to tell my people that. And the Lord told me this. Listen what the Lord told me right now. He said, a lot of people are confused what to buy, whether gold or silver. What did that Pastor Dana said? I'm buying silver. Yeah. Why? Because silver is still affordable. Gold is not affordable. Not anybody can buy 1 ounce. An ounce can cost right now $2,000. When people come to me and say, "Benny, what should I buy, gold or silver?" Guys, I forgive you because your lack of knowledge. Traders we buy cheap and we sell expensive. That's the rule. So buy silver. Buy silver. And they ask me, "Benny, what should I buy, the dinar or the dome or what?" And I say, okay, so you can buy paper currency. Yes, you can buy paper currency because the chances that it may revalue against the dollar are good. But how many years have you been waiting for this blessing? More than 18 years.
Oh.
More than 18 years. And what are you doing? You're sitting in your home waiting for this to happen. And what's happening to you? You're getting frustrated. You're losing hope. You're losing faith.
Yes.
Because you don't know what to do with your investment. You already listen to the liars and the gurus. They're listening to the Spirit of God. You rather listening to the liars and the gurus. Then come to the kingdom first.
Amen.
That's what's happening to all of you.
Yes.
So,
that's good.
If you ask me, what should you buy? I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. But if I was you, I will buy silver. And why silver? Because silver will get you better, sooner investment of your money than the dinar.
And probably, Ben, it'll become a tradable commodity, yes, even on the street.
In the future, and in the near future, silver will go higher in price sooner than gold.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. If you don't believe me, talk to economists, talk to a trader. Talk to him. And please do not go and ask the gurus, because the gurus will only want to brainwash you. They have nothing. They have no education. They have no sources. They literally have nothing. And you guys are still listening to them. Even within my children, the Benny and the Jets, they're still listening. There's two people that are still listening to Mark C. Why? Because there's no fix for stupidity. There's no fix for stupidity, and that's the truth. I'm not to offend you because I hate you. I'm trying to offend you to make you to force you to think.
Yeah, we need to think things through.
The Lord, when He was on earth, He insulted the Jews. He insulted them. But He didn't use the profanity they use. He did not do that because He's perfect. The Lord is perfect. The Lord is holy. But He came out and shake our belief. That people in that time, they shake that they're still up to this day waiting for a false Messiah. They did not recognize the true Son of the Lord.
It's true.
Everything is in the Bible.
Yeah.
So if you call yourself a Christian, with all due respect, stop listening to Satan. Stop listening to the liars. Stop listening to gurus. Because when this happening, I'm not going to contradict myself. Nobody will know what to do. Nobody. Simple. Nobody will know what to exchange, where to exchange, etc., etc. And I know many of you do not agree with me. Just wait. Wait. You'll see. That's it.
Well,
I know, because I'm telling you, I know what they're doing. I know why actually they're going to do that. Okay? And I'm telling you what they... Now, let me ask you something, Pastor Dana. Do you have a link where my people can donate for your ministry? Maybe you can give it to me later on, and I can place it underneath the video. Okay?
We have just a Tithely for our church. And I've even had people, give to my personal PayPal account from my church.
Right.
I've got folks that want to send money and do this and do that. I've never asked for that, never requested it.
That's okay, but you're going to need it to do what God wants you to do.
Underneath this,
send it to our church, and the address is 173 Living Word Drive in Brooksville, Kentucky, 42717. That's just the best way, just to send. That way they can send to whatever they want to do with, they can send to the church. We can take care of it from there.
Yes. When you see this video on YouTube, you will have the information to donate to Pastor Dana Ministry. Underneath in the description box, you also will find the PayPal link underneath this video, and also it's going to be displaying right now in the video. please donate for his ministry. If we do not support ourselves, who's going to support God? Who's going to bring discernment to the people of God? The mission of divine intel is to protect the recipients of this blessing. I'm gonna repeat it again. The mission of divine intel is to protect the recipients of this blessing. That's the mission. That's the mission that I do. So whether you like it or not, whether you can blame me because I have pay-per-views, nobody's putting a gun in your head. You can either support me or not support me. I will never stop my mission. This is the reason why I allow anybody to post underneath Facebook and underneath YouTube, so the whole world see how many people want to take you away from the promise of God. I want the enemies, and I want my trolls to be exposed, just like the Lord told me. I want you to expose them so that people can see the insanity. That's what the Lord told me.
There you go. There you go.
That's and then I did that. And look, take a look of the comments. I'm stealing from you. I'm making myself rich out of you.
Yeah, right.
See that? That tells you. Because the enemy will always look for division.
Yes, he will. Well, you know,
yes.
Pastor Dana is going to need, Pastor Dana, you know, as God continues to use you, and I think he's going to. I actually feel that he's saying there's increase coming, and that increase is going to come in various forms. And you're going to need not only provision, but he gives provision for vision. And there's some things that he's going to call upon you. He's expanding you quickly. And I hear he's doing a quick work because the time is short. And so he needs to expand you and your voice quickly. And so let the provision come in. Father, I thank you that provision will come in so that the vision that is upon your servant, Pastor Dana, will come forth in its time, perfect way, Lord. And I also see him bringing people who know how to do things that you don't understand or have the equipment or the wisdom to know how to do, the education. He's going to bring some people to you that will make it your burden light. God is going to lighten your burden because right now you're in transition. The burden can be very heavy, but God says he's going to lighten your burden and bring it forth so that you can carry it not as a heavy weight, but as a victor. He wants you to be a victor, and you're going to walk as a victor because he's going to give you victory.
Okay, that's
beautiful. Thank you for that. I accept that. I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
God bless you.
All right, so guys, this was Pastor Dana Coverstone.
Yes,
and bringing this beautiful dream. It's beautiful for me because it's basically waking you up to a reality that nobody wants to have. The reality
it's 100%
yes,
God.
It's 100%.
It's 100%
exactly.
God.
So it's coming to warn you guys. We need to change. We need to bring discernment in the United States. We need to bring people back to the Lord. So this prophetic dream does not come true. He also mentioned that he saw blue hats, right? From the UN, the United Nations, right, Pastor?
Yes, yes.
Guess what they told me? They want to bring the blue hats in the country.
Oh, gee.
Yes,
it's total confirmation.
Yes, it's total confirmation. They want to provoke an event. Listen to this. They want to provoke an event that will force the United States not to use their army or the National Guard. Therefore, they're gonna need outside invaders. Yes, it's going to be an invasion. Yes, whether you like it or not, it's going to be an invasion. And they want to bring the United Nations. Let me explain to you guys so you can understand. Then the Lord told the prophet King Clement that he will diminish the United Nations.
Yeah,
he did. He did. He said that he's going to remove the United. Why? Why would they do that? Because they're going to try to invade the United States. They're going to try to take away the only place in the whole world that defends and protects freedom.
Yes, exactly.
That's the way they want to do it. Because if they cannot remove Donald Trump by either way, if the devil cannot remove and cannot remove him because he's basically cleaning the corruption in the United States, they will do whatever it takes to get control of this country.
Yeah, they will.
Okay, that's how the devil is trying to do it. But I'm not going to contradict myself. The Lord told me very, very clearly, my agenda will prevail over all agendas.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's what you need to know. We bring you to these facts because it's a confirmation. It's a spiritual war we're going through. We need to pray every single day. We need to pray for ministries like Pastor Dana Coverstone.
Yes, and we will.
I need you guys to support his ministry. You will see the link under in the description box. I want you to please support his ministry. Please do so he can continue with this blessing and the prophetic dreams that the Lord is giving to humanity. Because it's not just the United States; it's humanity. Okay?
Yeah,
why? Because if the United States falls, the whole world will fall.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. It's simple.
Okay? Simple. Yeah. I want to thank you for the bottom of my heart, Pastor, for coming to my show and bring this beautiful revelation of the Lord and waking it up so we can back to the Lord and listen to the Lord and bring morality in the country. Okay?
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for the bottom of my heart for coming to Divine Intel.
Well, it's been an honor to be on here with you. Thank you both. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm also going to thank Karen McCoy for being helped over here and bringing her input. And guys, please, guys, I want you to focus on the prophetic word. Don't focus on chaos and panic. Chaos and panic is only being bring you to shake you to your new paradigm. Exactly. God bless you. God keep you. And I see you next time.